The Minister of Labor reassuring workers of the Grand Lucayan Resort. Residents have mixed reviews on the government possibly buying the anchor property. And the Red Cross extending training to the youth.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort has been pending for some time now. The hotel property that has been closed now for almost 2 years is considered to be key to the survival of the island's tourism sector. Employees of the resort are concerned about their jobs, but tonight the Minister of Labor is seeking to calm the fears of those workers. Sabrina Brown reports.
Minister of Labor, the Honorable Dion Folks, says workers at the Grand Lucayan Hotel have no need to fear regarding job security at that property, as the government is working in their best interest.
We will ensure that their jobs are at all times protected, and any benefits due to them, that they will receive those benefits. The government has not made any definitive decision with respect to the hotel at this point. As the Prime Minister said, it's an anchor property for not only for Freeport but for Grand Bahamas generally. It's the largest employer on the island. Some 500 persons are working there.
Minister Folks says the government will do all it can to ensure the viability of the island's anchor property.
The whole Port Lucayan area is basically dependent on that hotel being open, and all of the secondary and tertiary jobs that are generated. So the government is very cognizant and very sensitive about the needs of the workers there, and we're doing all that we can to move the sale along as quickly as possible, but primarily to protect the interests of Grand Bahama and protect the interests of the workers.
He says the government is well aware that this is a difficult time for employees at the Grand Lucayan Resort.
As you know, when the Prime Minister comes to Freeport, he actually stays at the hotel, and he is in constant contact with the workers there. They have been through a lot. The majority of them are working 1 day or 2 days. School is about to open, and there's a lot of financial demands placed on a lot of the parents who work at the hotel. So the government is very cognizant of the suffering of the workers there. So we are trying to expedite and move very quickly to bring relief to them and also to Freeport and to Grand Bahama.
The Labor Minister notes that reviving Grand Bahama's economy remains a top priority for the Minis administration.
I just want to assure Grand Bahamians specifically that all of us, all of the ministers of the government, that we are focused on the revitalization of the Grand Bahamian economy, and the Prime Minister has made that one of his top issues.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Member of Parliament for the Pine Ridge constituency and a former chairman of the Hotel Corporation, Frederick McAlpine, is also weighing in on the idea of the government purchasing the Grand Lucayan Resort. He says that he supports the decision if the need arises.
Not to actually be in the hotel business, so that we would be able to control the deal and actually find the persons who would be interested in purchasing it, so as to get it out of the hands of Hutchison Whampoa, and so anybody dealing would deal directly with the government of the Bahamas. I don't think that the government should be in the hotel business. I personally, in my personal opinion, don't want the government in the hotel business.
But the MP says it should be the last resort.
Once you have a government into hotel business, you have certain things. It becomes too political, you have overstaffing, and when you have people doing things that are contrary, they tend to run to their member of parliament, and then it becomes political, and you can't terminate the persons who rightfully need to be terminated for political purposes. So my view has always been that it should be the last resort, and again, for us to purchase. And if we purchase, the purchase should be not for us to operate, but for somebody else to operate it, and perhaps for somebody else to purchase it out of the hands of the government.
Now, our Italia Hall took to the streets to hear what residents have to say about the government possibly purchasing the Grand Lucayan Resort.
We are presently
In a recent interview with ZNS News, Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis indicated that the Grand Lucayan deal was far from complete and said that he was very disappointed in the deal. A number of buyers were involved in the sale of that property, including the Wynn Group, but we understand that recently Paul Wynn made the decision to pull out of the deal. However, the Prime Minister said that the government cannot allow the Grand Lucayan to close, and they are still prepared to purchase the hotel in order to bring relief to the economy of Grand Bahama. We spoke with some residents on Grand Bahama to get their views on the situation, and most believe that it would be good if the government decides to purchase the resort.
I'd like to see it open. I mean, I wouldn't care whether the government buys it or not. I don't know what kind of deal they can get on it, but it would mean a lot to the economy of this island for it to be open again.
Right now, jobs are very, very important for people, and so if it's only for a temporary time, until they can find a buyer.
unless they've got very good management with a plan to bring in people into Grand Bahamas, because that is where the problems are.
I think they should buy it. Why? The people them need jobs, man.
The Grand Lucayan began to decline shortly after Hurricane Matthew, and only the Lighthouse Point remains open to date. These residents say jobs must be the focus.
I think it's a good idea, really, because it'll boost up the economy.
The people in Grand Bahama need to go back to work, and whatever means and ways to put the economy back on its feet again, it should be a good thing.
We need employment, so I think it would be a good idea.
But Dario Roberts believes that a decision like this can possibly be a bad idea.
People's jobs are as a top priority, but what you do is you create legislation, you create acts, you create policies and mechanisms in place to facilitate that. You don't need to go and buy a hotel.
He also believes that reviving the Grand Lucayan Hotel will not solve the economic problems on Grand Bahama.
Technology brings Grand Bahama back. See, we lived in the industrial sector for many years. It worked. Now we're in the technology sector, so the government has to embrace what the Prime Minister said, making Grand Bahama a Silicon Island. This hotel stuff, forget about that. All right, let's work at getting Grand Bahama in the technology sector where tech companies are coming down.
Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.